Only 14 viewers? That's it, man? Wow. Maybe I gotta change my title. Yeah, I gotta change my title to something more bullish, man. The bear shit ain't working out. Maybe I'll give it some time. Let's see. Matthew Dropco gifted 1 sub. I appreciate that, man. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What's a good title, man? What's a good title? Bitcoin extended cycle? Bitcoin bull market? Bitcoin bull market starting? Or bull trap? Bitcoin. Let's do Bitcoin Q4 bull market starting or bull trap. That'll get some people in here. Yeah. Bitcoin Q4 bull market starting or bull trap. Q4 Doge pump. That should work. That should work. Ryan Cohen for 2 says Spy and Rut almost back to all-time high. It can't be over. Yo, maybe it's not, man. Let's get some bullish hype in the chat, baby. We got Spy at all-time high. The Russell's about to make a new high. Dude, the Bulls are back, man. I told you the other day, if you're gonna FOMO in, you better FOMO in before the pump comes. And if you didn't FOMO in now, there's still time to FOMO in, man. Not financial advice, obviously. There's still time to FOMO in before it's too late. But I appreciate the 2. I appreciate the 2. Thank you very much. Maybe you're right, Ryan. Listen, man, you gotta stick to your guns, brother. We might be going up for a new all-time high. Good luck to you all, chat. I appreciate the 2, though. Helps out a lot. DMV for 5 says, change it to Thanksgiving pump and dump. Check Toshi. I appreciate the 5. I appreciate the 5. Toshi. Send it. We're live, right? Yeah, I mean, a little big screen, I mean. Let's see. Toshi. Toshi did break the macro uptrend, which isn't the best sign, but you could just make another uptrend here. So we could say that even if the market corrects to the upside, Toshi could still move down. If it stays over the uptrend, you should be good. You can see this 618 retracement is right there as well. So as long as Toshi holds 25, we should be fine. We should be bullish to the upside. Now in the short term, you can say from the high down to the low, Toshi could break higher once it gets over 55. So if you can get over 55, you should be in the clear for a bull run for Toshi. If it ends up getting rejected at 55, then it's still bearish. So you're kind of in the middle of no man's land right now. It's up to you if you're going to get in or not. But if it ends up spiking up to 55 and getting rejected, it's still bearish. But in the macro picture, the uptrend holding 26 could still be bullish. So you'll have to decide what your time frame is. But once you get over 55, regardless, it's bullish to the moon, mother bleeper. But I appreciate the 5. I appreciate the 5. I wanted a real person to get the membership. Yeah, I think it's random. I don't think you can choose. We're back. We might be back, actually. Let's see. See what the chat says. What does the chat say? What does the chat say? So how's everyone doing today? How's everybody doing today? I'm here for my daily dose of hopium. You guys want bullish hopium? Let's do it. You got the 3-day RSI oversold. The last 2 times that happened was... Ah, shit, it wasn't even the bottom. We'll just pretend that one didn't happen. The last time we were this oversold, it was the bottom. So, Moon Boys are in control for the next couple months. Same thing in 2018. There's a 75% chance the bottom is in. That's your hopium. Your bear hopium is you didn't bottom here. You made another low. And I don't really think there is bear hopium for now. We're bullish. We're bullish for the foreseeable future. The question is, do we go up and make a new all-time high to fool all the bears, or do we trap all the moon boys? You know, you got to pick your you don't have to pick a team, you just pay attention to it. It's not really that complex. If we're in a new all-time high in January, then the 4-year cycle is broken and we're going to have the biggest bull run because we could top anywhere. January, February, March. We could run all the way to March, baby. Especially with QE coming up. It's very possible. And if we make a lower high in February, then that's your last chance to get out before we go straight down. So you don't really have to overcomplicate it. We're bullish for now. The question is, do we make a higher low? Sorry. Do we make a lower high or do we make a new all-time high? If it's a new all-time high, then the cycle's broken. If it's a lower high, then you could just sell. But do not, shorting right now is not a good option because it's bullish. Let's go over Doge to the moon. Well, listen, if we make a new all-time high, then there's no time limit. So technically Doge could top in March all the way out here. You know? If we go up and make a new all-time high, then could be doing something like this, where the top ends up being in the spring. Yeah. Something like this, kind of. There's a huge gap between Bitcoin and SPX and the global liquidity. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends where you look at the M2. My M2 indicator says December is actually bearish for the M. Actually, yeah, that's a good, I'm gonna have to look at this. It doesn't mean we have to be bearish because we didn't follow it up, but it would be interesting to see if it curls down. or up. Let's see what it does. But yeah, there's a bunch of different theories for the M2, so I'm not gonna go in that rabbit hole. Some people are shifting it to the left, some people are shifting it to the right, some people are doing whatever. Wasn't the time limit December of 2024? I don't know. Is the food channel as good as this? Why don't you subscribe and find out? We better get 300 viewers today. Moon Boys are back, baby. What's your M2 offset to? It's an indicator. It does it by 10 weeks by itself, I think. Yeah. Moon Boys never lost hope. There's not that many people in here today. It's a little bit disappointing. Maybe they'll show up. We are only 10 minutes in. Maybe they'll show up. We're never going below 90K again. We just did. Now we should be bullish for the foreseeable future. The question is, where would we get stuck if it is bearish? The bounce that we're getting was essential. We needed to bounce. It was like essential to both market structures. But the question is, where do we get stuck if it is bearish? You know? I think the 8-day is better than the weekly, personally. The 8 days all the way up at 108K. Yeah, even in 2018, you got stuck at the 8-day. Well, we're not just going to teleport to 100,000. Well, I guess if it's a bull market, you would. But if it's still bearish, we should get to 108 by January. So it would look like this. So if it's actually a bear market, we would slowly grind up. And then get stuck in January. Or probably maybe late January. Something like this. So if we're over 110K and it's January, we're probably going up to break the cycle. But that's what happens. You come up to the moving average and then you never return to this area again. Same thing in 2018. You came up to the moving average and you never returned. So the question is, are we going to break through it or are we going to get stuck? But either way, you're probably coming up here. So the Moon Boys are in control for the foreseeable future. Although green doesn't mean anything. The perma bear is here. Nah, bro, we're going up. We're going up for the foreseeable future. The question is, how high does it go? The question is, how high does it go? We just broke so many, we broke so many. Yeah, see, look, even here, we're almost, I'm not saying it's a theory, but what I'm paying attention to is in 2022, we topped in November and then we crashed in January. But all the indicators that went off in January are going off now. So it's almost like we're here if it is bearish. So we would be bullish until January. So if it's still a bull market, you have to make a new all-time high before the end of January. Which if it is a bull market, we would probably just go right back up. But that's why I'm saying if we don't make a new all-time high by the end of January, then this is where we are. And then we should go straight down. Because even the moving averages suggest that. Like, you see how weird that is? It's like right on top of it. You went a little bit above it. This one, you kind of went a little above it. Whichever one it is, I don't know. But we would go a little bit above it again. That's why if it is a bull market, we should just go right up over the next 2 months. Doge ETF went live today. Yeah, that is bullish. To the moon, baby. We tried saying a couple of days ago, if you think you're going to FOMO in then, because it's only going to go up. And by the time you FOMO in, it's going to be bearish, you know? So if you feel like you're going to FOMO in, you know, the longer you wait, the less off, the better, the worse off you're going to be. Not financial advice. Difference with this dip is we're just putting solid closes through IWM all-time high. Yeah, did that come out today? Oh no, that's ISM. I'm wrong. I don't even know what IWM is. SPX monthly candle is insane. Yeah, it looks pretty good. You better get back in, chat. Whoever made you sell the bottom. Doge holders in the chat, moon time for the rest of the year. Yeah, but that's only 30 days. We need to be bullish into January and February. A lady dropped off a cat in my house. It's just a random cat, or it's... I thought that was your cat. IWM is the Russell. Oh, it's a thing? Yeah, I see. Yeah, plus we have the Fed policy about to change bullish too. 4-year cycle is about to break, chat. You better get in. Not financial advice, obviously. Doge holders in the chat. Yeah, but why are we not getting viewers, man? We only got 170. Not even. We may get a 2-week old season retracement. We might. Old season's back, baby. Why is the poll only 50-50 though? Oh yeah, but it's 13% is unsure. Gotcha. The Moon Boys ain't up yet. It'll be very obvious looking here soon that this was a very easy setup to fake people out. It could be, man. We broke every single bull market indicator that ever existed in history. So if we go back up, it was pretty obvious, man. That's a good point. People might be traveling to meet family. There's no family, brother. Isn't Thanksgiving only a holiday in like certain areas of the world? So half my chat lives in the Eastern Hemisphere. Are we pumping? We are. You better get back on the rocket, brother. This guy said on 30K, here we go. It's possible. M2 turns bullish. If not 100K break, it's bearish. I mean, we're not just going to go back up to 100K. It's going to take a little while. But we should get up there. We should get up to 100K. Could we get stuck before that? That's what I'm trying to see. Like, where would we get stuck? Even this is 100K again. 106. Is this 106 too? Yeah, it is. So we could come up to 106 and then if so listen, if we're at 106, 104, 103, whatever, and it's the end of January, that's that's probably it. So I think if you're in the Moon Boy camp, we got to just go up from here. Is the dominance going up? Oh, it's attempting to. When is the top going to be in? We've been stuck all morning. What do you mean? I'm about to buy 100 bots to tweet Doge. Doge is back, baby. I don't think the price necessarily matters as much as the time. Because the thing is, if Bitcoin didn't squeak past with this new all-time high, most of the market topped in August. And that's where the tether dominance is behaving. Like it's potentially doing something like this, which is why we should be bullish if this is true for the next 3 months. But if you overlay this, it's acting as if October wasn't the top, but August was. Which means the crash would be in April. If if there is a crash, obviously. If we're going to the moon, then we're going to the moon. But it's almost like every week we spend down here below this moving average, it is going to pull on it. I'm assuming you watched, actually not that many people watched the video today. Yeah, if it's not Moonboy, it doesn't really get any views, but this is another thing that I saw yesterday. Which is why if we come up to like 106 and we get stuck, and it's January. Actually, this is probably going to be a little bit longer. We could be bullish for a little while. This cycle has 100% been delayed because of the shutdown. QE is coming next week. Liquidity is coming. There's no bear market. Yo, maybe not, dude. Listen, I'm with the Moon Boys. We have to go up from here. If we make a new all-time high in January, then the 4-year cycle is finally broken. And then we can have old season in March or, sorry, February or March. It's time to FOMO back in. Yeah, now would probably be a good time to FOMO in still, because we didn't really go up yet. But I'm telling you right now, if you think you're going to FOMO in, now would be the time, because it's only going to go higher. Not financial advice, obviously. It takes time for the effects of QE to be felt. They started QE today. It's perfect timing on the QE, the Monday right before Thanksgiving, or right after Thanksgiving. So we have confirmation they're starting QE on Monday. Is that the talk of the town? Do we have confirmation that QE starts on Monday? December 1st. They start on December 1st. Gotcha. Yeah, the Russell's about to make a new all-time high. SPY's about to make a new all-time high. The Moon Boys are back, baby. QE on Monday. That's what the chat says. Chat says QE on Monday. Fucking Moon Boys running wild. QE on Monday, chat. I can't wait to never hear about the 4-year cycle. Oh, it could be your chance. It could be your chance. Someone mentioned FOMO in because I liquidated most of my Doge. Yeah, Aquarius, if the Discord's not working, that means you got banned. Have you ever been in one of the servers before? Or are you new to the YouTube channel? Because if you're banned once, you're banned forever with Discord. If you're banned once, you're banned forever. They will get into QE, maybe not immediately. So we don't have confirmation of QE. We don't have confirmation of QE, huh? The casino is always open. It is. What am I doing? I'm looking at a couple stuff on Twitter. Dog with hat's going crazy. Is it? Yo, fucking A. Good spot, dude. That was a good call. If anyone plays dog with hat, it's pumping pretty hard right now. Just throwing it out there. October 27th, QT ended. December 1st, easing begins. Do we have confirmation of that? Do we have confirmation of that? Wojak on Solana? Yeah, I saw that shit was still pumping. The Solana casino is always open. I think the Solana casino will stay open for perpetuity, in perpetuity, on the contingency that we break the neckline of this accumulation. So if we're in a big bull market, then this is a 1 year long accumulation. Actually, it is almost a 2 year long accumulation. So I think as long as we stay over $100, the Solana casino will remain open. I think once or if it falls below $100, just like back here, that's where the casino actually closes. And it just becomes a bottomless pit. But we're not there yet. QTN's the first, but no QE yet. So it's not confirmed. QE propaganda in the chat. The QE propaganda is in the chat. QE propaganda, red alert. My guess is it will pump and dump. I mean, there's too many things to guess and chart out, honestly, so you just gotta let it play out. You know, at the end of the day, you gotta do what you believe will play out, you know? So who bought as much as they could? I got paid this morning. This is the fastest way to take large quantities of money because of FOMO. I mean, it's not FOMO because we had to go up. Like, we can't go any lower than this. It's impossible. Again, unless, even if you do think it's a bear market, you want it to go up from here. Because I was looking at a bunch of moving averages yesterday, and I realized that if we go any lower than this, we're actually breaking market structure for the bear market, which is why us bouncing right now is good. Because I said it this morning, because I'm assuming nobody watched the video. When you break this blue moving average, you go down to the bottom. So we can't go down to the bottom if we just went down. That's why every time we hit this moving average, we go straight. Sorry. Every time we break through the moving average, we go straight down. And every time these moving averages cross, it marks not necessarily the bottom, but it marks the bottom of the capitulation. So if we don't go up from here, then these moving averages are going to cross in January, which is impossible. You can't have a bear market, you know, like, again, unless the playbook changed, then we just go down forever. But I don't think the playbook changed. I think we're going to get a bullish, we're going to be bullish. The question is it a first time ever bull run? 4-year cycle's dead, or is it going to be the same old bull trap that it always is? Which I don't know. I'm not going to come on here acting like I know. I'm just showing it to you. That's why you have to decide what you think it is. And you'll know what it is because if it's February and we're still below the high, it's bearish. Because I would imagine by February, this is going to be up here. So if it's a bull market, every time we made a new high, it was when the stock RSI came up to the top. So if the stock RSI is on the top and we didn't make a new high, it's bearish. That's what happened in 2021 or 2022 and 2018. So I don't recommend, I don't recommend anything, but I don't think shorting is going to be optimal. It doesn't mean you have to FOMO in, but I think people that are shorting are going to get killed. Dogelon Mars is pumping. Is it? No fucking way. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. We 100% need new all-time high or we're going down. I think we had to bounce here though. Like, I'm glad we did. Like, look, dude, we're hanging on to the Gaussian channel by a fishtail. You didn't even get that low last time. Last time you had the same candle, but the fishtail was inside of the channel. This time the fishtail wicked below the channel, but we're still inside the channel. But I think we can, well, we don't have to agree on anything, but if it is truly bullish for a new all-time high, we don't want to stall out. Anytime you, like, in other words, this is what I think. This is my opinion. So every single bear market indicator that you can have that's not bias has just been triggered right here. The same exact indicators were triggered right here. So if it is going to repeat this, it doesn't really make that much sense because this top was in November and we were in January. So our November would be October, so we would be in December. So that would mean that one more low has to come. But you can't look for the same exact thing because if we make another low, unless it ends up being a wick, then you could get away with that. But we really can't go any lower than this or the structure is going to break. So maybe there is one more flash crash down, but generally we should form a bottom here. But the problem with that is this was 3 months and this was only 2. But we went down 55% almost. We only went down 35%. So maybe we don't need that much time. Because if you look at MicroStrategy, even MicroStrategy is doing the same thing, which says we should be bullish. This is the previous bear market overlaid to where we are now. Even MicroStrategy says we should be bullish, but only until January. So it's like, if you're a moon boy here, you want to go up, you just want to go right up. And the reason, and again, it's not going to look exactly like this, but the thing that's scary is the bottom would be in October, and that's literally where this is. And then this first bottom would be in February or March, which I don't really agree with. That's why I'm a little skeptical. I'm not running around like this is my theory. I'm just showing it to you. But again, the reason why us going up fast is so imperative is because if we get stuck at any time, these moving averages are going to cross. And when they cross, it doesn't, it marks the end of the capitulation. So if it's a bear market, you have to be out before these moving averages cross, but they don't cross until we already start going down. So it's almost like if it's a bull market, we have to get over the green moving average, which maybe that's all it is. But what I'm saying is if we're waddling around here like a penguin and then we get slammed at 100,000 and it's January, this cross is going to be in March or April, but we have to go down before that. And that's why I'm not just showing you I'm trying to show you everything. I'm not just trying to show you bearish or bullish shit. We talked about this a couple of days ago, where over the next couple of weeks, the weekly stock RSI should come to the top here, because that's what it's been doing the entire bull market. So if it's January or February and this is up here, but we never made a new all-time high, that is the first time this entire market cycle that it didn't happen, which means the trend has reversed. So there's a lot to watch, but I think we've got it all down. Like, I'm not overcomplicating it, looking at a bunch of random ass shit, you know? That's why I don't feel any FOMO, because it's like, it has to go up. FOMO is when it catches you off guard and it's like, holy shit, you know? What I would be worried of is if we don't move at all, then it's like, you know, what happens now? So ideally, I think for everyone, you can't run around saying it's going to look exactly like this, because that would be naive. Maybe it's just dead, like it just sits on the moving average, like 2018. Even in 2018, you got a big bounce, but we just sat here doing nothing. Which that would be the worst case scenario. And maybe we even do something like this. I mean, again, it's not going to look like this, but... And then we just take a shit. But I don't think this is going to happen, because in 2018, Bitcoin held up. But again, if you go back to April or even July of 2018, and you look at Ethereum took, oh my God, it was April. Yeah, look, you had one chance to get out of Ethereum, and then it just took a shit. So the dominance has to go up, which obviously it's not. Even this is getting pinched. So there's a lot to look at, but I'm not trying to bombard you. I mean, I'm looking at it for myself too. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible, because there's people that are making Moonboy indicators that, and perma-bear indicators too. Like, there's people that show you only bearish shit. I'm trying to show you stuff that flips bullish and bearish. It just happens that everything is flipping bearish now. So that's why I can't ignore it. But like, we even got a bear signal here, and then we're bouncing, which is exactly what happened in 2021. You printed a bear signal and then you bounced right on the moving average that we have to bounce at. So even if you're a bear, you need to go up, which is why I'm glad. I'm not saying that I'm a bear. I'm just saying, if the bear market theory, not my bear market theory, but if the bear market thesis plays out, in other words, if we're going to try and time this, then we need to do that. That's what I'm saying. And if we go make a new all-time high, then you just buy altcoins that didn't run yet. You know, it's not really like, well, if you don't buy the exact bottom, then you're fucked. In what world? Brother, we were here for this, and most of us lost all of our money here. So it's like, if you don't buy the exact bottom, you're going to get left behind. And then if we go down tomorrow, there's going to be coins that make new lows, even if it's a bull market. This FOMO hype shit is dead. I've been here for too long now. I see through it. It doesn't exist. Even if we go up and make a new all-time high, there's going to be... Look at Shiba. You're telling me that I'm going to miss Shiba? In what world, brother? It's the same price that it was when we were at 20,000. Oh, well, Shiba's not going to pump. Well, how do you know what you're holding is going to pump? So, I think if it is a bear market, we should still bounce, but we don't want to go too high. But I think, again, we're about to enter our blue box, which is bullish for the Moon Boys. But something is starting to whisper to me that I'm going to have to move it over. I don't think it might not be this long. Because the moving averages are set to cross if we go down. Obviously, if we go to make a new all-time high, they're not going to cross. But you are getting a lot of similarities. Oh, this is actually the wrong... This is a different moving average. No, it's not. That's weird. Was it this one? Why is that? Why are we... Yeah, it's the third one. Moving average number 3. Why are we sitting on top of it here, but on this overlay we're not? Why is that? Right? Why are we sitting on the moving average on the other overlay, but not on this one? See what I'm saying? Of course it's not going to cooperate. Why would it? Yo. Oh, there we go. I'm not retarded, dude. I know I had it on the weekly. All right, there it is. I know I'm not retarded. But it looks like, yeah, sometime in January or February. So if we're not over 100K by the end of January, because you got to remember, we're going up now in November. So you'd have the rest of November, you'd have all of December and all of January. You'd have 2 full months to get over 105,000. So if it's still below 105,000 by the end of January, then I think that's your March of 2022. Because the bottom shifted over too. It's not in November, it's in October. Again, according to the cycle, not me. I don't know where the bottom is. But it's nice to see we're getting a bounce when we needed to get the bounce. So we should be bullish at least until February. So I might have to shrink this down. Yeah, I might have to shrink this down. Posted Domino's. This guy doused his pizza in mayonnaise. How is Domino's? I think I had Domino's one time in my life back in like the 2000s, 2007. Yeah, see, look, this guy, I don't even know who this guy is. Bro, this is a random ass dude. This is exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm a random ass guy myself, right? There's nothing special about me. This guy's using the same exact moving averages, which obviously the whole planet is moving. The whole planet is using the moving averages. But he is now saying that we are still in a bull market because we held this moving average. And I just showed you that you only come to this moving average when it's a bear market. You actually don't even touch this moving average until the bear market is over. So the fact that someone is saying we could come down here and still be bullish, if you're going to say that, fine. I'm not saying that that's a bad argument. You just can't use this indicator because every time we've come to this level, it was a bear market. You know? Like, that's why you got to be careful what you're consuming, because if you want it to be bullish, you'll make it bullish. The only time you can even say that was here, and this was the bottom of the bear market. So one would argue that you only come to this moving average if it's a bear market. Or you could say 2019, at which case you still went below the moving average. So that's why for me, when I look for bullish hopium, I try and give you legitimate bullish hopium, which the bullish hopium is we're bullish right now because the stock RSI is about to rip to the upside. This is legitimate bullish hopium right here. And I already told you 3 times. Since the bull run began, every single time Bitcoin went from oversold to overbought, we made a new all-time high. Or a new high for the cycle. Because obviously this wasn't a new all-time high. But you made a higher high. Then you made another higher high. Then you made another higher high. Then we never hit overbought until we made another higher high. And then we hit overbought again, and we made another higher high. This was the higher high, not this. So if it's a bull market, we should be gearing up for a new all-time high. This is legitimate hopium. And like, I didn't show it to you today. I showed it to you at 84,000. So we're probably going to get this. Now, what I could push back on, because I'm not a professional, if this ends up getting stuck anywhere, that's bearish. Like maybe it gets stuck at the middle line. If it gets stuck at the middle line, then you could say it's bearish. So we can't assume that it's going to come up here. It's just easier to say that it's going up there, you know? Same thing with the 2-week. If it's a bear market, the 2-week stock RSI won't reach, it shouldn't even move, actually. Because every bear market, we didn't actually go anywhere. So we got a lot of shit to look, even here. And keep in mind, Chad, this was a gnarly bounce, 70% almost. So a 70% rally couldn't even pull this to overbought. We're not going to get a 70% rally unless it's a bull market. Because we didn't get that big ass drop. We got a little drop. But that's what I'm saying. Like when I show you stuff, I'm just trying to show you neutral indicators that are either bullish or bearish. But if I were going to make a bull argument, that would be it. RC3 lines too. RC3 lines are hitting oversold on the 2-week time frame. So we should get a bounce. But if you start going to the larger time frames, you can't really come up with a distinction here, because you could say that it's bearish, but it was bearish here and then it turned bullish. So this doesn't really help us because I don't know if it's bullish or bearish. There's no consistent data. Then you raise the time frame. You can say, okay, this looks bearish at face value, but we were bearish here and we made a new all-time high. So you can't really run around saying that this is bearish either. Even though at eye level or at eye surface or some, I don't know how that saying goes, at face value, yes, but there's something with eyes too. At face value, it does look like it's turning down, but it turns down here and we were still bullish. So can't really use this. 1 month we already looked at. But once you start going to the large time frames, again, it looks like it's getting ready to cross bearish. But by the time it crossed bearish, you were already in the bear market. Same thing here. Same thing here. So it's like, if it's a bull market, we got to go up, because by the time this crosses bearish, it's bearish forever. So if it is a bull market, same thing with this. We got to go up now. And then another thing I wanted to share with you, which you've probably already seen, is Bitcoin has never had a red 5-month candle, with the exception of 2019, and it still made another low. You've never had a 5-month red candle and not been in a bear market or crashed by 50%. So if we... It looks really bearish when you do this, doesn't it? This looks so bearish when you take it off logarithmic. If we end up getting a red candle, that would be a very strong indication that the bear market is already underway, because every time in history that's been the case, with the exception of 2019, at which point, again, you still went down 50% from the COVID crash. So I would argue this candle actually has to turn green, which means we got to get to 112,000 by December, which that doesn't really seem likely. But if it happens, then you got a bull market, and the bulls are back. So there's a couple things that are going to happen here. Not because I'm not saying this like I know, I just know from experience. Some people are going to make a lot of money, because some people are going to gamble on casino coins, get a 5x, whatever. Most people are going to make money back from the bounce. If we make a new all-time high, then everyone's going to get their money back. If we make a lower high, most people won't sell. And right now there are people that sold and they don't know if they should buy back in. There's people that are shorting right now because they're going to say it's a bear market, we're going to short, and it's going to continue to grind higher, and they're going to get liquidated. If you're not confident in your decision, then I don't think you should do anything, personally. If you have 100% conviction that it's a bull market, then that's good. That means you're holding. If you're not sure if you should put money in or not, you should probably do nothing. Because what's going to happen is this. Right now, everyone's FOMOing back in. We could spike up to 94K, then roll over again to 86, then you sell, and then it goes up again. Like, if you think it's just going to teleport like this, like, if it's a bull market, it probably will. But when has it ever done that? Like, you teleported like this, yeah, but after 3 months of moving down. I would argue if it did teleport, then yeah, you're probably going up for a new all-time high. But everyone's got a different plan, so. But you can't say that it was over and now saying, oh my God, we're back, I got a FOMO in. Yeah, see this. Okay, so this moving average is 100K. So you see how in 2022 we came back to this moving average and then we went down. In 2018 you came back to it, went over it, and then went down. Yeah, in 2014 you never came back to it. You just went down. So it's different. But I would imagine over the next 2 weeks, over the next 2 months, we should come back up here. I think if it's a bear market, it would do it pretty slowly. Or it comes up quick and then that was it. And then it makes another lower high, you know, something like this. There's so many different, I can't predict what it's going to look like. That's why you just got to do what you think, man. That's all you can really do. Riser for 2 says, which coin buy right now until January? That's a good question, man. You're gonna have to figure that out. I don't know. There's many, many coins. You could just buy Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana. Oh, Solana's a good one. Yeah, Solana's having a nice rally. So probably Solana scam coins. I didn't see that. I appreciate the 2. What else we got? Fireman for 2 says, how high can useless go? I appreciate the 2. Useless. Well, it bounced right off of the box, so we could be bullish from here. Technically, it is still bullish. So if Solana goes up and makes a new high, this coin could go to $1. So you could get a 10x. But listen, this is a Sol casino coin. So even if Sol doesn't make a new all-time high, you could still get money. You could still get a new all-time high. But just because it's holding the 382 doesn't mean it's going to go up. You got to get over to 382 in the other direction, which is 1575. So if you can get over 1575, we could start saying, all right, new high is on the table. Obviously, if Solana goes up. But if you get stuck at 15, or if it doesn't even get that high and it just stays down here, we can't necessarily assume it's going to run. You could say that it's bearish. And then anytime, if it falls below 84, it's going to 0. But I appreciate the 2, man. We're literally waiting for a miracle, but I don't think miracles can happen. I don't think people are waiting for a miracle. Like, yeah, I'm keeping it as simple as possible. Even if you're not a moon boy, if you're bearish, if you think it's a bear market, you still shouldn't be shorting here. Not financial advice. Every time, not once, not twice, every time, we only go through this moving average when you're going down for the bottom. That's not my opinion. That's what happens every time. So if you're shorting, you're actually betting on something that's never happened before, which that's the same thing as moon boys. If we go up and make a new all-time high, you're betting against the data, because every bull market metric that you can use that's not bias says the bull market is over. But if you're shorting here, you're also betting on something that has never happened before, because we've only broken this moving average when the bear market was over. So if you're shorting, you're betting the bear market is over, or that the trend is going to be different this time, which is no different than saying bull run. It's going to be different this time. That's why for everyone involved, I think if you're not sure, you don't want to just donate money to the shadow realm, because the shadow realm will take it regardless if you're bullish or not. But me personally, what I want to see is something like this. I want to see us go sideways. There's like a hair of FOMO because you look at all the bullish arguments, but then if you really bring yourself down to earth, we broke every single bull market structure there is. Unless you're making shit up, which I've done in the past. I'm not saying that you're wrong for that, because I've done it too. But I even posted this, which I'm looking for bullish stuff too. It's not like I'm a perma bear. I don't really care which way it goes. What I do care about is FOMOing back in and then getting sent into the shadow realm. Like, some people are blindly FOMOing in and they don't even care if it goes down. They're just going to say, oh, I'll hold it. It'll go up next time. And then they'll hold Shiba to 0. Like, there's a lot of people that are going to do that. But now we know that just because the coin went up last time doesn't mean it's going to go up this time. But for me, I can't blindly FOMO in knowing there's a high probability that we're going to get stuck. And then you can say, well, why don't you just FOMO into Ethereum? Because Ethereum shouldn't go that high. And if it does, and Ethereum makes a new all-time high, then that's great. I have a watch list with 1,000 coins on it. You're telling me that they're all going to go up at the same time? I don't think so. So if you're not sure, I don't think you should just blindly throw your money at stuff. If you're sure we're going to go... And again, I'm not saying that I know for certain, but if you're sure we're going to make a new all-time high, then you're fine because you're not going to get chopped up. You know, it's the people that are unsure. Oh, well, what if it goes down? And then if you're saying what if, then you're probably better off just sitting on the sidelines. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's people, listen, even if we go up and make a new all-time high, there's people that are in right now that are still going to lose money. So don't get pressured by the, oh, you're not in, ha, or you're shorting, and then you have the bears that say the same thing. Oh, you're holding in a bear market. It's all nonsense, man. If we can get over the high, there's 1,000 meme coins, and there's coins that aren't even out yet, brother. If we get stuck, you just sell. It's this. This is where people lose money. If we get stuck, there's going to be people that still don't sell because they're going to say, well, I'm up, I'll just cut it if we break the low. But by the time we get down to the low, your coin is already down 50%. So you're like, all right, I'll just hold it. So whatever happens in the next 2 months is very crucial for everyone. But we should be bullish. But that doesn't mean it's going to be. Again, everyone and their mother is saying it's bullish. Even the bears are saying it's bullish. But how do we know it doesn't just chop around like this? Would you be prepared to sell if Bitcoin was at 100K and then you had one day and then it just went right back down? Then you say, all right, I'll wait for the next bounce. And then it just doesn't bounce. It just goes down, you know? Like, we don't know what it's going to look like. It should be bullish, but I don't know. What if they change it? Riser for 2 says, quick TA on NASDAQ 100. How low in April? I appreciate the 2. There's no guarantees the stock market pulls back. I don't even know how to spell NASDAQ 100. Like, what's the... There's no guarantees the NASDAQ pulls back. So I don't know. Just because Bitcoin goes down doesn't mean the stock market has to go down. People that are telling you that are grifting. You can look at the chart on your own. In 2017, Bitcoin topped here. And the NASDAQ 100 went to the moon. In 2015, Bitcoin entered a bear market here. Literally. NASDAQ 100 went to the moon. So the grifters that are telling you, well, stocks are bullish, so we're not going to go down. It's grifting. It's YouTube grifting. They teach us that in Grifting 101. When you first apply to be a grifter, you got to go through Grifting 101. And Grifting 101, this is on the bullet sheet. Tell them the stock market's bullish, so we're going up. You know, only one market cycle has the stock market gone down with Bitcoin. So I can't come on here saying I know where the NASDAQ is going to be. Because it could go up. Even if we're in a bear market, it could go up. And the thing that's sad is even if it's a bear market, you're not even going to get to buy back in. Like, that's the bottom forever. It's fucked up. You really think the NASDAQ's going to fall 40%? You'd have to have a catastrophe. That's probably the bottom for a while. Now, what I would say is what they don't teach you in Grifting 101 is even if we go into a bear market and the S&P doesn't go down, you'll never have a Bitcoin bull run without the S&P coming back to the 200-week moving average. It's never happened. Or it's like right above it. So even in 2018, where the stock market was bullish, you still came down to the moving average when Bitcoin bottomed. So if the S&P is bullish and we're bearish, at some point, you're going to get a nasty ass drop, which is what I was thinking in March of this year. I'm like, maybe they do what they did last time, where the S&P just pumps the whole way. And then when they activate QE, that's where the 200-week moving average gets hit. You know? So like it looks bullish, and it is. But like once Bitcoin goes down to the bottom, they're just going to open the trap door and the S&P is going to go down to the 200-week moving average. And then at this moment is when they activate QE. If it's a bear market. I don't know. I'm just giving you a bunch of stuff that could happen because it's not a prediction. It's just, I'm just showing you what's on the table. The reason I say that is because even if it is a bear market, there's no guarantees that the S&P is going to go down. There's actually only a 33% chance. I hope it does because then stuff like Coinbase will go down. But I don't think Coinbase is, now that I'm looking at it, this is not going to happen again. This only happened because Coinbase went down with the S&P. The S&P is not going down, so Coinbase isn't doing shit, which is why it looks bullish. Because it is a stock. It's not a crypto. It's a stock. So this is probably the bottom for Coinbase forever. I think if we do get a bear market, Coinbase will probably be like $130, which isn't really that much lower than what it already was. So I can't really answer. I don't know where the NASDAQ is going to be in April. If it's a bear market, then I think by the end of next year, the NASDAQ will come back to the moving average. But again, what does that even do, considering that we were already down there? And now the moving average is over where we went down. So you would need a COVID crash, basically. So congrats to the stock buyers. Stock buyers win again. Even if the NASDAQ goes down, we still wouldn't break the low. So congratulations to the mom and pops in the back. You guys beat the crypto bros yet again. So is that it? The FOMO wore off already? We didn't get that many viewers today. I'm disappointed. Why do we have less viewers when we're higher? I appreciate it too from Riser. You missed my super chat? Yeah, I did. Do you think Jasmy can get to 10 cents from here? Nah, Jasmy's done, bro. I think Jasmy's done forever. Honestly. Unless we get the biggest alt season of all time. If we get the biggest alt season of all time from here, then yes, Jasmy can hit 10 cents. But if you look at the chart for Jasmy, it's so bearish. Like you had a rug, you had a 618 retracement. Think about this. Bitcoin was 20K and Jasmy was 3. Bitcoin's now 90K and Jasmy's at 7. So if Bitcoin goes to 50K, this is going to break the low, which is very possible because this was a 618 retracement. If we get the biggest alt season of all time, but like ask yourself this, does that even look possible? Like if Jasmy does this exact move, now it's August of 2026. This is also what helps me fight FOMO. This doesn't even look realistic. And this is August of 2026. So you would need this. Even if you did this exact move. Now it's May of 2026. So you have to ask yourself, does this look realistic? You did it in October, but it was even September to May, which is still, it doesn't look realistic. So I think Jasmy topped out forever. Now, if it's the biggest alt season of all time and Jasmy just teleports, then yeah, you can get it. You'd have to see this. That would get it done by February. So I'm not going to answer for you, only you can know. But does this look realistic to you? Because this is the exact move that you would need to get to 10 cents by February. And again, there are people in the chat that say the cycles are broken, it's all bullshit. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. but the indicators themselves are saying that it's about to go down. So now if you're saying the cycle's bullshit, the indicators are bullshit, well, the same indicator is called the bull run. So now that they're bearish, they're bullshit. That tells me that you're delusional. And I'm telling you that from a place of delusion because I said the same thing last time. Even though it said it's bearish, I said I don't care. Bullish. But the one thing that is a little bit alarming, chat, is this. It's food for the Moon Boys or the Perma Bears. The S&P 500 is about to print a, I think it already is. I gotta try and find the right time frame. Bear with me, no pun intended. I will find it. I will find you. All right, we're getting close. Is it this? Could it be this? We're getting close. I just don't, I can't find the right time frame. I saw it on my chart. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so the S&P 500 is printing a blue bar on the 8-day time frame, which the 8-day time frame is a very random time frame, but I just showed you all the time frames and they're all pretty much down here. It's just this is the only one that's printing a blue bar. So this blue bar means a very large move for the S&P is about to come. It doesn't say what direction, it just says up or down. In 2021, you printed multiple blue bars and the S&P was flying. You can see it rallied all the way up by 17%. Last year, or I guess this year, the S&P nuked by 21%. So the S&P is either going to do the following in the next probably 3 to 5 months. Rally by 10% or begin a correction down 10%. Whichever one seems more logical to you is what you have to base yourself on. Oh, maybe it was Bitcoin, actually. Yeah, it was Bitcoin. Okay, so this is food for the Moon Boys or the Perma Bears. So listen, we're printing a blue bar on the 2-month time frame. This is no joke. This means that Bitcoin's volatility has been so low for months that a major move is coming on the monthly time frame, 2-month time frame. So that means we're either here and Bitcoin's about to go vertical, like a lot of people think. Same thing happened in 2025, 2015. Bitcoin did nothing. We went vertical, or we're about to go straight down because Bitcoin fell by 70% in this time frame. Now, this does not mean that we can't get another blue bar. But if we get another blue bar in January, that's why it's bearish. You see it? Because if it's still a bull market, why are we printing blue bars? Unless it's about to go up. But you would have 2 blue bars. And the difference is, it's not like we didn't go up. We did go up. In 2019, you never broke the high. You know, you were down here. Now we're already all the way up here. So it's like you have to ask yourself the question, which is more realistic? And it's not like a rhetorical question. I'm genuinely telling you, this is what you have to ask yourself. Is this more realistic? That looks bullish. Or is this more realistic? That looks bearish. But they both do the same thing. They do nothing and then they just deviate. One goes up and one goes down. And only you know the answer to that. But we're getting something, man. That's why I think if it prints another blue bar in January, it's bearish. because it says we're supposed to go straight down in February and March. So if we don't make a new all-time high by March, or February rather, then it is going down. So it's like there's a couple of things that are, oh my God, look at this one. Look at this dude. Look at this fucking guy. You got it on the 3-month time frame too. So good luck, chat. You're either betting on the biggest bull run ever. Maybe it is. This says you have the firepower for the biggest bull run ever. It also says you have the firepower to go down 50%. But the thing is, you're going to go down more than 50% because from the point of no return, you go down 70% to the bottom. So what I'm thinking is if we get stuck in March, we're going to go straight down. Like it's going to be suffocation. You're not even going to get a chance to get out. It's going to go down like this, down like this. There is an eclipse in August, so that should be bullish. And then we get the bottom. And then the bull run starts again. So this bounce that we're getting is so crucial. That's why I'm glad it's happening. Because if we didn't bounce, it would be like, well, where are we? You know? If now that we're bouncing, you're going to know it's a bull market or a bear market. And you know that if it's bearish, we're going to go straight down. Not just because that's what happened last time, but because all the indicators are bearish and the BBWP says that's what's going to happen. You're going to print some gnarly ass candles. Now, if it's bullish, then you're going to get a big giant bull run. Because you can see the monthly time frame, you printed blue bars and we went up. The monthly time frame again, you printed blue bars and we went up. Blue bars here, we went up. Blue bars here, you went down. Blue bars here, you went up. So it would be so bullish if we didn't break every single bull market support that there ever was. That's why I have a reason to believe it's bearish, because look at where we are. You only come into this area when it's going to be bearish. But that doesn't mean it can't be bullish. I'm not telling you to give up on your dreams. Again, if you're betting on something that's never happened before, that's what separates Moon Boys from the bears. But I'm not telling you to do that blindly because you're going against the data. I don't have an agenda. I don't really give a fuck. I just want my money back. But I'm not going to blindly FOMO in if it's about to go straight down, because then I'll never recover. So I'm trying to show you everything that's not biased, and unfortunately everything is bearish except for the stock RSI, which I showed you. The stock RSI is bullish. So I was going to show you before is this. Even this is being recreated. The RSI is forming some type of wedge. Of course, my fat face is blocking it, but look. We printed the bear signal, same exact spot as 2022. And the RSI, look, the RSI is making lower lows just like in 2022. So we could be right here, which is what I think it is. So we should get a bounce. And then when we get the bounce, if it's a bull market, we'll make a new high. If it's a bear market, we'll make a lower high. And then we're going to go down for the capitulation. Because remember, this was not the bottom for Bitcoin. It was the bottom for the capitulation. But because our top was in November, this time it was in October. So this capitulation should start in February or March. Because it started in March last time. So it may even be February, which is why I'm looking at everything. And that's what the moving averages are suggesting. The moving averages are suggesting that if we don't make a new all-time high by February, the capitulation will start in March. And then we should just go down from March all the way to April. Sorry, June. So I'm trying to show you everything. If I have a bullish indicator, I'll share it. Same thing with the super guppy. These are just random ass indicators, but they're neutral. That's the difference. They're not bearish or bullish. This is the first time since September we actually fell below the green. But the difference between now and September is there was no green here. You came off the bear market. Now it's green and we're below the green. That's never happened before. Well, I don't want to say something that might not be true. Yeah. Once you go from green back to gray, it's a bear market, with the exception of COVID, but you still had a 50% crash. The problem is you don't know until it's too late. But I'm showing it to you now just so you can see it. Same thing with the weekly time frame. This is the first time we're below the guppy since September of 2023, but it was never green in 2023. It was red. That's why it was flashing that it's going to turn bullish. Now it's flashing it's going to turn bearish. Because again, look at what happened in 2022. You fell below the guppy for the first time, arguably since the COVID crash. So you'll know it's about to go straight down when you start printing no more green. So this is another indicator for you to watch, the guppy. If we stop printing green bars, it's bearish. Just like here, we stopped printing red bars and it was bullish. But I'm not going to add this because we already have the chart set up. I don't need more confirmation. I like the moving averages because they're simple, but they say the same thing. When you break the blue line, GG's. So now what we have to do is get through the bounce. If this is all going to come true, the bounce should be over by February. So if we're not making a new all-time high before February, I know it's going straight down. And I'm not saying like I know because I know what's happening. It's just every single time you did that, it was bearish. So if we're doing it again, I have to assume it's bearish. And if we make a new all-time high, then it is bullish and the Moon Boys were correct. Well played. But I have to look at MicroStrategy and see how it's behaving, and there's just so many indicators that say we're right here. And I do think MicroStrategy is a good watch, because if MicroStrategy doesn't bounce that high, it's a sign of weakness. The problem is even here it bounced 50%, so it appears bullish. So if we bounced 50% again, everyone's going to be like, holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. But like you'd be coming back to the low again. Holy fucking shit. Common Sense for 5 says, Happy Thanksgiving. I appreciate that. Common Sense. Happy Thanksgiving as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Common Sense again for 5 says, thanks for all the charts and the signals. I appreciate the 5. You don't have to thank me. I appreciate it though, but like the difference between me and most of the other people on YouTube is they're already rich and traders, and I'm broke and I'm poor. Well, I'm not poor, but like you get the saying. Like I'm not a trader. I'm trying to get out of here, and obviously I'm accepting it that I'm never gonna get out of here. So I'm just trying to navigate where we are or where we could be versus other YouTubers, and rightfully so. I'm not taking anything away from them, but they speak in absolutes, probably because they're successful traders. I'm not. So I can't speak in absolutes because I don't have the track record to back it up. But that doesn't mean I'm not qualified to share data It's not like I'm making this shit up. This is literally what happens every single time. So I can't confidently say we're guaranteed to go down to 40,000 because that's what always happens. But I can say that there's an increased probability that we're going down to 40,000 because it has happened in the past. Just because it happens once doesn't mean it has to happen again, but it happens every single time, you know? Like there's a different way to word it, and I learned my lesson from 2022 speaking confidently. Now you do need some confidence because even though my Moonboy chart was wrong, I believed it and I was able to change my life temporarily. Obviously, I faded my own chart and I lost everything. So now I have another chart that says if we're stuck in February, we're going straight down. Not because I said so, but because Stone Cold said so. No, but because that's what always happens. So I'm just doing my best to share everything. And again, to some people, it comes off as perma-bear. That's because there's nothing that's bullish unless you start digging under rocks, except for the stock RSI. The stock RSI is bullish. And the RSI is bullish in the short term as well, which is why we're bullish in the short term. But what I don't want to overlook is the same exact bearish ass structure that you formed in 2022. You're doing the same exact thing, which is very surprising to me because you never do the same exact thing, which is why I'm not going to run around saying we have to bounce to 100K. Maybe it gets stuck at like 96. If we bounce up to 96 and get stuck, that would catch off guard everyone because nobody's going to sell. Everyone on YouTube is saying we got to go back to the moving average. What if we get stuck before that? There's too many variables for me. But like this is bearish. It's doing the same. I mean, it always does this too. It's not even like it's random. It's just it looks different because we made a higher high. But what I realized is the real bull run is when you hit overbought the first time. Like if you got out in March of 2024, yeah, you missed some of the bull run, but like you didn't lose money. If you stayed in past March, you probably lost money. The same thing happened last time. We rallied to overbought here, and most people made money. And if you're going to argue this, I'll say fine. If you got out here, you didn't lose any money. The market was bearish from this point. So I think next time, obviously this one was much different, but these market cycles are 10 years apart now, almost. I guess 7 years apart. I think next time, which is why I think the bottom for the capitulation, if it happens, should be in the summer, but that's not going to be the real bottom. But if you buy in the summertime, depending on what you buy, you might get the bottom on some coins. But this makes me optimistic that the top for us is going to be earlier because the real bull run keeps moving. So if we get this bounce and then we go down for the low, the bull run may actually start from there and it should hit overbought by 2028, which is 2 years away, not 4. But the top is out here somewhere. But this is now the second market cycle where we printed a bearish divergence. And the reason for that is because Bitcoin is having diminished returns. So next bull run, you might only hit overbought one time. But I don't know what it's going to look like. That's why I have to say that. But again, I can only share with you. Well, technically, I could share with you whatever I want. Like, there's people that are probably still running around saying the top can't be in because the pi cycle moving average didn't go off. Like, there's probably people that are on here saying that. Like, come on, you jabroni. You didn't even get the top last time. If you're still saying it's a bull market, that's fair. Like, you could make legitimate arguments. There's just not that many of them unless you look for bullish indicators. But you can't listen to someone saying the top isn't in because the pi cycle top didn't trigger. Why do I have qualifications to say that? I'll throw myself under the bus. I said the bottom was here when the pi cycle bottom went off. And it still didn't work. We still made another low. Look at that shit. Look at this dude. Pi cycle bottom, bottoms in. Then we made another low. So the top can absolutely be in because the pi cycle top didn't trigger. It didn't even trigger the second time. Not to mention, chat, that the 2 week, the red moving average doesn't break until we're going straight down anyway. So if you're going to wait for this to break, you might as well just hold all the way to zero. So I'm trying to show you neutral stuff, not just to be fair. That's a part of it, but I want to find it for myself. Because if we would have seen this coming, we would have been very well off. But I was looking for bullish shit. Even though everything said we were bearish. Neutral indicators, obviously. Even the extreme fear. How many people are saying, oh, everyone sold in extreme fear? And then the bullish channels, which, listen, you guys think the bullish channels are dumb? They're all millionaires. They make more money showing you bullish shit when it's not bullish, even if it's not bullish. That doesn't make any sense. I said the same thing twice. Like, I was watching some big YouTubers today, and they're only showing you bullish shit, and I'm like, dude, they know what they're doing. They need the viewers. I need the viewers too, but I don't want to wreck my viewers, and I don't want to wreck myself. That's why I'm trying to show you bullish stuff. I'm saying the same thing over and over again now. But the only bullish argument is the stock RSI. But it is a legitimate argument because, again, every time this market cycle, we were oversold, we went to overbought, we made a new high. So if you're bullish, now's the time to be bullish. I agree with you. It's very tough to say that this is bearish. But if it's a bear market, you're not going to make a new all-time high. So you need to be able to accept that if it comes up here and we're not on a new high, the trend has shifted. And the good news is, if that happens, from that moment, you go straight down. So it's easy not to FOMO because you know it's going down. The tough part for me is going to be not FOMOing in this area, which is why I kind of hope it gets stuck at like 102 or like 97. But at the same time, I don't want to not FOMO in if it's going to go up and make a new all-time high, which is for me, if we do break the high, that's why I don't really feel FOMO. It's only like in the short term. I have 1,000 coins on my watch list. So I don't really think I'll feel FOMO. And either way, if we're still in a bull market, it will be bullish for my YouTube channel. So I'm not rooting for one way or the other. I just don't want to lose any more money. Whereas some people in the chat don't give a fuck. They'll just hold all the way to zero. And they'll also hold to the new all-time high. But like I said, there's people that are in right now. Even if we make a new all-time high, they still won't make any money. It's not because it's their fault. It's just there's too many coins. Which is why I say the same thing I said before. Bitcoin was at 25,000 and Jasmy was at whatever Jasmy was at. I don't even know where it is. Now Bitcoin's at 90,000 and Jasmy's the same price. So Jasmy's probably not going to go back up. It'll get a big bounce. Or if Jasmy does go back up, there's going to be time to get in. So like, yeah, I would be missing the bottom on Jasmy, but if Bitcoin goes to an all-time high, Jasmy will probably be back to where it was in August. So what did I really miss? So that's how I'm looking at it. But I appreciate the 10. Eat my shorts for 5 months says you can't save them all. Chilling, waiting for October of 2026. I appreciate the sub. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to save people. Maybe it goes back up. All I'm saying is if it makes a lower high before February, we know it's going to go down. So we're going to give the Moon Boys a shot here. First time in NBA history, we broke all bull market support, but we go up and make a new high anyway. If this is what happens, you got everyone. You got Ben Cohen said it's a bear market. Blockchain Backer said it's a bear market. Like all the big YouTubers are, well, not all of them. Some of them are bearish. Some of them are still bullish. Some of them will be bullish forever. So if we break all bull market support and we still go up anyway, then a lot of people were fooled. And congratulations to the Moon Boys. But it's not like you get killed, like someone knocks on the door and says, "Did you say it was bearish?" And they shoot you in the face. But I think it would have to look exactly like this. Again, not just because of some type of rubbish ass cycle, but because the very indicators that predicted that it was bullish at the bottom are now shifting down. So for me, I can't look at this and say, "Oh my God, we're about to go to the moon, chat." Oh, sweet Jesus, we're about to go to the moon. I can't do it. But again, I will show you. Last market cycle, you printed the red bar and it was February and January. And that's exactly where we bounced. So it's like all the indicators are saying this is where we are. Even in 2018. By the time this thing crossed red, we were halfway through the bear market. And in 2014, it didn't cross red until the bear market was pretty much done. So this time it's crossing early, which is why I'm starting to think the capitulation might be early too. Because it's almost like all the indicators shifted over to the left, which means that if it's bearish, we'll get the bounce now and we'll top out in February. Because last year we topped in March and the crash began in May, April, and June was the bottom. This time everything is happening acceleratingly fast. So we would probably top in February. And then the crash is in March, and then April, May or June would be the bottom. We would have a bullish summer because of the eclipse, and then the bottom would be in October or September, and then the bull run starts in January or February. Because if you think about it, we've already been going down. Did you know that if we don't go any higher than this till the end of the month, we've already been going down for 50 days? It's going to be 55 days tomorrow. So if we come to December 7th and we're still below 95,000, we've been bearish for 2 months already. Which means there's only 10 months left. And that's why I'm saying if we make it to February and we don't lose any money and we make a lower high, you survive the bear market. The toughest part of the bear market is the first 3 months because we don't know if it's bullish or not. And I say that as a Wojak because a lot of people say the same thing, they just won't admit it. But that's the toughest part of the bear market is you don't know if it's bullish or not. But that's why we know this time. If it still didn't make a new all-time high by fucking January, now you're 3 or 4 months away from the top. It's over. And if you can make it to this point and it's bearish and you didn't lose any money, then you did well. Because from this point, there is no FOMO. Because you're going to go straight down. Why? Because if we're at 100,000, we got to somehow get down to 40,000 by October. There's only one way to do that. You got to go down. So if you're bearish or you're unsure, there's nothing wrong with waiting for confirmation. There's no confirmation yet. We're supposed to be bouncing even if it's a bear market. And if you're trading, then you could trade anyway. You could trade both directions. It's just most people are moon boys, like myself. But I'm trying to deviate from the moon boy. Like even Ether is doing the same thing. where it's like we should be bullish from here. Like it's fucking sick. It's the same exact cutout. And then it says the bottom's in May or April. But I think again for me the biggest thing is MicroStrategy. Like there's really no arguing that this is bullish. Like there are people that are saying MicroStrategy is bullish even though it's repeating the same exact thing as last time. Even if Bitcoin goes up and makes a new all-time high, MicroStrategy is going to make a lower high and then it's going down. But the next 2 to 3 months are going to be tough for people, for some people. Because you won't know if it's making a new all-time high. And by the time you find the answer, it's too late for some. So DC Woodworks 42 says check the Russell 2000. I appreciate the 2. Yeah, the Russell looks like it's going to make a new all-time high. That looks good. You didn't read my last donation? Oh, Year of the Fire Horse is 2026. Ultra mega bearish. I appreciate the 2. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, man. I don't go down that rabbit hole. But I appreciate the 2, man. I didn't see it. I don't know. Someone said that the 2023 was the year of the rabbit. 2024 was some rubbish. 2024 was bearish, man. Since March of 2024. But I appreciate the 2 from Riser. I don't know anything about the symbols of the year. But yeah, the Russell 2000 looks like it's going to make a new high. The problem is we already broke all bull market support. So again, you can go back to 2018 and see that the Russell 2000 continued to push higher as we went down. Actually, it happened in 2013 as well. I was looking at the wrong one. So again, I will push, this is grifting 101. You can see that both bear markets for Bitcoin, the Russell 2000 went higher. The reason why we needed to break out was because Bitcoin didn't break down. Now that Bitcoin broke down, it's much harder to make a bull argument. Because in 2013, Bitcoin broke down. In 2018, Bitcoin broke down. The Russell made a new high. So now the Russell's making a new high, but we broke support already. So I can't make the same claim that I once did because we broke all bull market structure. That's the problem. Don't forget this bull run is a 5th wave of a 5th wave of a 5th wave. That's why it's not as bullish. Nah, the Elliott wave shit is rubbish, in my opinion. Because where's the 5th wave here? This? 1, 2, 3, 4. This little ass thing was the 5th wave? Then I can say the same thing about Ethereum. And we made a new all-time high right here. 1, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This was a new high. And now we're going to get an ABC correction. 1, 2, 3. Bottoms in. It could be that simple. That's what happened last time. Listen, it could be this simple. Bitcoin dominance didn't fall like previous euphoric periods. Yeah, but ETH BTC is why the dominance never fell. The Bitcoin dominance won't fall unless ETH goes up. So if ETH goes up, then you can get this. I just don't want to see this happen unless Bitcoin goes up, because then you're setting up for this. We were bearish and the dominance went down. which could be what just happened. But I appreciate the 2. Kiddo for 2 says, are we all FOMOing into Wojak? Yeah, someone said before it was pumping hard. Wojak. Oh shit, wow. What the fuck? God bless. Yo, the Solana casino's always open, chat. Look at this shit. From November, it's up 5x. From, yeah, oh no, it's up 20x almost. Good luck. Dude, the Solana casino is always open for those of you that want to play. The casino is always open, chat. We'll say that we're bullish over 35. So as long as Wojak is over 35, it is bullish. Any lower than 35 and the top is in, most likely. Well, you could say 25, actually. Yeah, if it falls below 25, the top is in. But I would probably cut it below 35, just in case. Good luck, man. Casino stays open. I'm not totally opposed to this being a bear market, but we will see with Bitcoin retesting the MA. If it fails, I'm ready to exit. Yeah, exactly. The problem with YouTube and X is like people turn against each other. Like, oh, this guy's a bear, so he must be eliminated. Like, I want you guys to make as much money as possible. I make more money when you guys make more money. So I want it to go up, but we're going to find out together. If we go back up and make a new all-time high, then we're bullish. If we go back up and the RSI gets stuck, it's bearish. Then you just get out. So I think for now, everyone is on the same page that it is bullish. The question is, how high does it go? Does it make a lower high or does it not? My only thing is everyone is saying go up and make a high. Like, I don't think anyone is, and I'm not saying it has to happen, but is there anyone actually saying that it's just going to do nothing? Like consolidate? But even this would be bearish. But yeah, even I'm like, how could we have a bear market with no dominance collapse? It doesn't make any sense. But at this point, I'm kind of hoping that's the case because that would mean that the next bull run could be very big. Yeah, like even if we get this, dude. No, this is no good. We need this. This is what I want to see. Because did you guys know that if we got this, by the way, again, I think Ben shared this. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but I'm sharing it with you. We were bearish here, and the dominance went down. Right? We started falling. I think we fell 50% from August of 2019. And then we turned bullish in December, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, if we did something like this, it actually lines up with the bull market, and it would just mean that the altcoins run with Bitcoin from the beginning, which in 2017, that's actually what happened. Like altcoins were bullish, or Ethereum was bullish at least, from arguably January or July, whichever one you want to use. So next market cycle, if it is a bear market, you could argue that we would have stimulus and all of that rubbish. So you could get a big bull run. But it is disappointing that we didn't go down. It's sad. But to me, I'm just taking whatever it gives me. So if we teleport back up and make a new all-time high, so be it. If we don't, so be it. Summer's the new bull run. I do believe it'll just go sideways December. If we go sideways in December, that would be bearish. If it's a bull market, you must go up and make a new all-time high now. Because, like, look at this, too. Look at this, dude. How do you know it doesn't do this? You know, like, that's the problem with being a moon boy. It's like every bounce is the bottom. So you gotta be careful. But for the short term, I think the bulls are in even a tether dominance, doing the same exact thing as 2022, man. It's very, very bizarre. It's almost a mirror image. Which is why, again, I would argue that if we get up and make a lower high, that is your signal to get out. Oh, now you could argue this is bullish, right? Yeah, exactly. Last time it was this. Now the goalpost is moved. But this is pretty much it. If you get the bounce here and we get a bull run, that's your chance. But if we go down and make another higher low, you'll probably break through on the next attempt. Which if you actually look at Tether and USDC, it is making a higher high. Like we already broke the channel. Tariff revenue, they're probably not going to do the stimulus, honestly. It's probably just a hoax, propaganda. If we teleport and make a new all-time high, the greatest comeback in NBA history. Yeah, if we go back up and make a new all-time high, I'm going to say that that's the biggest bear trap in history. Even though 2021 was the biggest drawdown, it wasn't. 2013 was. 2013 was a 70% drawdown. But I think even in 2013, you didn't break the moving average. Yeah. So if we go down, oh yeah, you broke the green one. If we go down, sorry, we've broken all bull market support pretty much. So if we go down or if we go up and make a new high, you broke all bull market you broke all bull market support, which has never happened. But then I look at something like Gemini and it reminds me of Coinbase. Like if we're in a bull market, this is not supposed to happen. Just like Coinbase, when Coinbase came out, it rugged. So I don't know. So let's just let it play out. There's nothing left to say. We pointed out the basics. Don't go looking under a rock for a bullish reason. Don't go looking under a rock for a bearish reason. It could be this simple. The simple things are the best. It could be this simple. And if it's bullish, we should just go right back up. It should look like this. Top is in March, and then it's a bear market. But I can only tell you this, chat. Do not lose all of your money. Because there will be another bull market. There always is another bull market. We will get a new appointed chairman in May. Yeah, but that's so far away, man. Yo, what if they don't cut rates in December? And then that sparks the capitulation. Why are my olds falling off the table? No, Solana's holding up pretty well. But the problem with Solana is it did the same thing it did the same thing last time. I'm telling you, we just got to get through March. If we can make it to March without losing money, you'll make it. These next 2 months are going to be very difficult for a lot of people. Not the experts, obviously, but for the regular people like us. But if we make it to February and we still didn't make a new high, then my Moon Boy chart is going to come true. I have faith in my Moon Boy chart, chat. Moon Boy chart says capitulation starts in March or February. Nah, I'm so prepared. I'm prepared this time. Now I just we just need to see if it makes a new all-time high. Because if it makes a new all-time high, I just FOMO back in. If it doesn't make a new all-time high, then we know exactly where we are. We're right here. We're right here. Doesn't matter. And once we print that bear signal, just close your eyes, say a prayer, get in there. Every time we printed a bear signal, we just went straight down within 60 days. 42 days was the bottom here. 70 days was the bottom here. But even if you did 60 days, like I said, still bottom, major bottom. Even 2014, 70 days, bottom. So we just gotta survive the next 2 months. And the reason I say that is because people might still lose money even if they buy the right coins. It's gambling, and I can't gamble anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it, chat. These pumps are completely manipulated. It's all psychological. Everything is psychological, man. Everything is psychological. The thing is, how can it get any lower? That's the best bullish argument. What do you mean? Where do you see Bitcoin in 10 years? It goes up less every time, so probably like 400,000. Scared money makes no money. So just go all in, man. You gotta go all in. Everything is physical. Oh, he's giving us a lecture. But that's pretty much the rundown for now. If it's a bull market, we'll make a new all-time high most likely by February. If it's a bear market, we should get stuck in February. But you've never broken this moving average on the first attempt. So if it breaks to the downside, then we have a problem. Because then we know it's bearish, but we don't know where it is. Could be anywhere. I'm not selling my Bitcoin until it goes to 1 million. Clash about to run. Captain Dinosaur is in the building. You thought today was Thursday? Today's Wednesday. Big money sold, so they made everyone fold. I don't know. I guess that's all she wrote for today. I don't really have anything else to say. There's nothing left to highlight. I guess let the chopping begin. Let the chopping block begin. I'm not selling my 10 million Jasmy till 5 cents. Wait, that was you? Bro, you never sold anything? No, SpongeBob. Wait, that was you? That had... Where's my Jasmy? No. No. Will I still be a Dogecoin channel next year? I hope so. I hope so. No, I messed up. Yeah, I messed up too. But I mean, like, you could still get out at any time. I guess if we get a bounce, you got to get out, man. If we get a bounce, you got to get out, dude. It looks like retail is coming out, so I don't know. What does that even mean? Do I think the peace deal between Ukraine and Russia? I don't know. I don't follow the news, man. If the bull market continues into a new year, yeah, it would be something that we've not seen before, correct? I told you it was a fake pre-Thanksgiving pump. I mean, listen, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but all I know is if we don't make a new high around the springtime, my girlfriend left because I didn't sell. Dude, no, man, no. Oh, son of a biscuit, man. I'm sorry, dude. All right, chat. Daily shill of the food channel. Welcome to the daily shill. We didn't get that many. Well, we still had over 200 viewers, which is good. But I thought there would be more viewers today. Unfortunately. I thought the Moon Boys would come out. We didn't really get that many. Well, we did, but we didn't get that many. As many as I thought. Check out the food channel, please. Can we get another sub? Step right up, get your subs in. Just shows what she was interested in. Yeah, but it's still tough, man. It's still tough. Do I have a food channel? Yeah, I've had a food channel for months now. You guys gotta watch all the videos to boost the watch hours, yeah? You guys gotta watch the videos to boost the watch hours. I should have another video coming out soon, the 28th, 2 days. Oh look, we're back again. We're bullish again. Just like that, we're back. Alright, chat, we'll leave it there. I should stream tomorrow. I don't see why not. I'll stream tomorrow, like 12. Stream early. So, All right, chat. Good luck over the next couple months. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. So, yeah. Good luck to you all. As always, everything in the stream is just my opinion. None of this is financial advice. I do appreciate the super chats. Does help out a lot. And we'll be back. I should stream tomorrow. I'll probably stream tomorrow like 12 p.m., I think. Unless something happens, which I doubt will. But I should stream tomorrow. So enjoy your day. Happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate it. If not, so be it. Should be back tomorrow, but we'll see what happens. So appreciate the support. Appreciate the super chats. None of this is financial advice. And bye.